Hello, and welcome to Anatomy with John. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite muscles, the Latissimus Dorsi. We'll be going over origin, insertion, action, innervation, and blood supply. Thanks for joining. Alright, so Latissimus Dorsi. First we'll talk about the origin, which you'll see above. Multiple spots where it originates. Let's go a little bit closer here. So the first one's going to be the spinous processes of T7 to L5. Now clinically, we are taught that T7 often lines up around the inferior angle. We'll see if that's accurate on Scully. So starting in the cervical spine, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. And yeah, so at the bottom of the inferior angle of the scapula, we have T7. So the Latissimus Dorsi is going to attach all the way from T7, T8, T10, T11, T12, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. Okay, so that's the spinous processes origin of Latissimus Dorsi. Next, it's going to originate also on the thoracodorsal fascia. It's going to be somewhere around here. And I'm going to do a separate video on the thoracodorsal fascia because it has many fascinating attachments to many different muscles. So we'll leave that alone for now, but it does attach to the thoracodorsal fascia, which is around here. Next, it also attaches to the iliac crest, so in through here. And it also attaches to the last 3 ribs on this side and also on this side. All right, so once again, for your ease, it is pictured just above here in the text. Next, we'll look at the insertion, much simpler than the origin. And we've talked about this in previous videos. It's going to be, so we're looking at the right humerus of Scully and the interturbercular sulcus of Scully right here. So that's the insertion. Once again, much easier to remember than the origin. Next, we're really looking at action. Slide Scully back. Action of Latissimus Dorsi is going to be extension of the humerus. It's going to be adduction of the humerus. Once again, adduction of the humerus. It's also going to do medial rotation of the humerus. So there are the actions. Getting into the innervation of Latissimus Dorsi. So innervation is going to be coming off of the nerve roots of C6, C7, and C8. And the branch is going to be the thoracodorsal nerve. And the thoracodorsal nerve is coming off the posterior cord of the brachial plexus. Okay, so brachial plexus is coming down through here, and then we'll get an exit of the thoracodorsal nerve, innervating Latissimus Dorsi, sitting in through here. Okay. Lastly, blood supply. And blood supply is no joke on Latissimus Dorsi. So we'll be receiving blood supply off of the axillary artery, and that's going to be the thoracodorsal artery. Okay, and that's going to line up just below where it exits, just below the coracoid process here. We'll get the thoracodorsal artery. All right, and once again, that's off of the axillary artery. Next, it's going to get branches off of the descending aorta, and the descending aorta changes to the abdominal aorta around the diaphragm, which is around T12. And so the branches it's going to get off of the descending aorta are going to be the posterior intercostal perforating branches of the posterior intercostal arteries, technically. And that's going to be the 9th, 10th, and 11th posterior intercostal arteries. And again, those are the perforating branches. It's also going to get from the blood supply from the subcostal artery coming in around here. That's also coming off the descending aorta, and that's going to supply Latissimus Dorsi. And lastly, it's going to receive blood supply from the first 3 lumbar arteries, okay? And so those are coming off of the abdominal aorta. So just along here as well, and supplying it through the Latissimus Dorsi. Like I said, the blood supply is no joke. So there you have it, folks. Origin, insertion, action, innervation, and blood supply of Latissimus Dorsi. Like I mentioned before, we will have a video separately on one of the origin portions of Latissimus Dorsi, the thoracolumbar fascia. So hang tight for that one. Until then, do not forget to eat your leafy greens from the refrigerator, and we'll see you all next time.